Hi, I'm gonna show you how to make a template for radiology reporting using PowerScribe 360. Um, it's a way to make reporting much more efficient, less cumbersome than free dictation, and PowerScribe allows you the tools to make this happen. So we're gonna go step by step and try to make a template that would be the most efficient way, or at least one of the most efficient ways of reporting. When you open PowerScribe, you're going to get this dashboard which shows you your studies or your pending studies, and then you can browse your studies by different modalities, radiologists, etc. But what we're going to work with is with the AutoText editor, which is under Tools up in the toolbar here. And we're just going to go ahead and click on the AutoText editor. This brings up this dashboard that's basically where you're going to build your macro, where you're going to add different characteristics to your macro or your template to make it as efficient as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a macro or a template for a chest x-ray, and that's going to be the basis essentially for building all of your other macros. And we're going to do it step by step. We're going to start with a simple macro, and then we're going to build up into more complicated but more efficient templates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to free dictate what would be a normal chest x-ray radiology report. The way I like to dictate it, you can use the dictation style that suits you the best, but I'm just going to show you mine. Examination colon, chest AP and lateral, next line, next line. History colon paragraph, technique colon paragraph. Comparison colon, non-available period paragraph. Findings colon, lungs are clear period paragraph. Pleura is clear period paragraph. Heart and mediastinal silhouette are normal period paragraph. Bones are normal period paragraph. Soft tissues are normal period. Paragraph impression colon paragraph, normal chest period. So basically what I've done is dictate a normal chest x-ray report. And I can go ahead and just save this as my normal chest x-ray template and call it out every time I have a normal study. But I would like to use this template for all the chest x-ray that I read and try to edit it every time I get a study. Now, if I wanted to edit this for every study, if it's not normal, it's gonna be more cumbersome to click on each organ, heading, or line, and then delete it, and then just dictate the positive findings, and then go to the impression. There's a better way, a more efficient way to do this, and it's by creating fields. And the same goes for the history, for the heading of the study up here. And that's what I'm going to show you. Let's start with the heading. So the first, the first heading is going to be the examination, and I just put this in all caps so it looks uniform. It's this bottom up here, the all caps. So this is a chest, AP, and lateral. Now, we all know that chest x-rays have many different types of techniques. They can be single, 2 views, 3 views, 4 views, depending. Now, I can create a field here and just free dictate the type of study that we're looking at, be it a single view or a 2 view. And the way to do that is just, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the text that I dictated and go to this button here that says fill in. And that's going to be the creator of the filling fields. And it's going to come up with this little box, which has many different headings. And it has the default text. The default text is the text that's going to always pop up if you're bringing up the template when you're reading the study. So I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm just actually going to change it to PA, which is the most common study. I'm just going to name this examination. We're going to talk about all of these lists and checkboxes later on, as well as the hyponyms and choices. But we're just going to leave it simple right now. We're just going to say that this filling field will automatically show this text once you pull it up. Just hit OK. And as you can see, I've created the field in red right here. Don't worry that you don't see what the field contains, because when you save the macro, it will show up on your macro database down here. And when you click on it, it's going to pop up on this side exactly as it will look when you're reading the study. So in the history, I really don't know the patient's history, so I can just write X, highlight it as best as I can, and again create the field. And just hit OK, and I can do the same thing for the technique. The technique is going to be the same usually with X-rays as the examination. So I can either delete it, or I can just say, I can right click on the examination field, select, right click, select copy, and then I can paste it here, and right click again, edit, and I just can change the name to technique and just hit OK. So I've created fields for each one of these headings, but these fields I have to dictate on them. In other words, when I pull up the study, I can navigate through them using the tab key, but I still have to dictate, free dictate into each one. There's a better way, a more efficient way to do this, especially on the headings of the reports, by auto-populating the heading with the information of the study and the patient that's already on the RIS. Usually the PACS and the RIS systems are converged in most radiology practices. So we can actually grab that information. PowerScribe can grab that information from the RIS and auto-populate it. And let's do that. Let's try and make PowerScribe grab that information automatically so we don't have to dictate it. The way to do that is to create a merge field. So I'm just going to go ahead on the examination and delete it, right click and remove, select field, and then just hit the backspace key, and it deleted the field. And I'm going to go ahead to merge. Now, if you hit the little arrow here, you're going to get all the drop-down list for all the merge fields available at our institution. And the one for examinations is called procedures, is this one here. So when I click on it, you're going to automatically get a field that says procedures. Now, when you pull up the template for a particular study, the title of the examination or the type of examination, chest AP and lateral, chest portable, whatever it may be, is going to auto-populate here. So you don't even have to dictate it. The history can also be pre-populated. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this filling field, go to merge, and in our institution, the reason for study is going to be the patient's history, and I'm going to do the same thing. And it's actually going to auto-populate, and I don't need to rewrite the patient history or redictate the patient history. For technique, since this is a chest x-ray and the technique is the same thing as the examination, we can just go ahead and delete it. Or if we want to leave it, we can actually make all of the different techniques for chest x-ray, chest AP and lateral, PA and lateral, PA, AP, single views, lateral decubitus, into pick lists. And the way we do that is as follows. I'm just going to right click on this field, and I want to edit it. So edit filling field. Now, instead of the this is going to be different types of filling fields. Instead of a text filling field, I want to do a pick list. And what that does is it allows me different types of choices in terms of the technique that I have. For example, in order to add an item to the pick list, I just say add. And let's just say chest, PA, and lateral. I can put a label on it, but since it's going to read the same and it's not very long, I'm just going to leave it like that. I say OK, and it pops up here. I want to add another one. It says chest portable. Click OK, and it's going to add to your pick list. And basically, you can add all the other ones, you know, the lateral decubitus and all the other views that you may have. And I'm just going to say OK. And what that does is it creates a list of items that you can just double click and it will automatically populate once you open up your study. For comparison, I don't have much of an option. Usually we don't, unless your system gives you the merge field for it. So what I do is I just create a filling field. The default is going to be non-available. Always when you highlight the text, it's going to go into the default box. So now I have all these filling fields for the headings, 2 of which will auto-populate, one which I can just choose. and the comparison, which is already in the no comparison, or if there is a comparison, I just go to that field using the tab key, and I can dictate the comparison. So now we can leave this like this and just save this template, or we can add more fields. The problem with leaving it like this is that this is very, very easy to navigate now and to dictate on it, but the findings are still cumbersome to change if the study is not negative. So for example, if there's a consolidation in the lung, I will have to come here, click, then highlight, then delete, and that takes up time. So what I do is I create fields for each one of these organs. So for the lungs, I highlight it, fill in, automatically the negative pops up, and I just say lungs. Now, I'm going to keep the name of the field very simple, and I'm going to show you why later on. And for the pleura, the same thing. Again, I'm just going to click pleura. For the heart and mediastinum, I'm just going to call it heart to keep it simple. Bones. And soft tissues. I'm just going to call it tissues to keep it simple. And the impression, which I'm just going to call impression and just leave the normal. Okay. Now, it's much easier to navigate now, and I can navigate with the tab key. The reason that I tell you guys to leave the name of the field very simple, for example, lungs, is that PowerScribe, you have the ability to navigate the fields by talking to PowerScribe. So for example, if I say field lungs, automatically the PowerScribe will place the cursor on this field and you can dictate the findings. The same goes for the other ones, field pleura, field heart, field soft tissues. So essentially, if you're looking at the chest x-ray and the only thing that it has is degenerative changes of the spine, you can say to PowerScribe field bones, degenerative changes of the spine, no fracture, and that's it. And you can just sign the study and you're done. Because everything else, all the negative findings are going to be there, and the study is going to be pre-populated. So it's much easier to create these templates in order to dictate studies more efficiently. So I have everything now. Personally, I like the findings to have headings. So what I'll do is just add the headings here. Lungs colon, pleura colon, heart colon, bones colon, soft tissues colon. And that's how I do these headings, right? It's your choice. I just like how it looks. It looks more uniform that way. So in order to save it, I'm just going to call it save 4, just to give it a name. Later on, we're going to discuss how to make this template come up automatically once you open a chest x-ray. But we'll leave that for a later video. But for now, I'm just going to leave it simple. You can actually categorize it to any folder that you have. I have many. Create a shortcut if you want, but I'm just going to leave it simple like this. Click save. And as you can see down here, this is your browser for all your template database. And you just put the name, you put the owner. In this case, it's just me, and the only ones that are here are these 3. And this is going to be the preview of your template as it comes up when you're reporting the chest x-ray. And here you can see that all of the filling fields are expanded to the normal text that they're going to have. These ones don't have text because they're going to be auto-populated, and this one is a pick list, so I haven't chosen which technique was used, so it's not going to populate either. But the simple fields are all going to expand, and you're going to see how the report is going to look. So in other explanations, we're going to see how to make this come up automatically once you open the chest x-ray. And we're going to start to explain more how to use hyponyms. And how that works in terms of reporting and ease of reporting. Thank you.